ExoPrimal is a game where exosuits and dinosaurs battle for dominance at the whims of a rampant, insane AI determined to collect combat data to create the perfect exosuit. On paper, this game sounds absolutely amazing and a blast. So why is nobody playing it? The truth is, this is an exhausting game to play. Every single round you have to be on your A game, ready to crack down on the dinosaurs as fast as possible. Everything in the game is designed to remind you that you're on a very limited clock, barely scraping by, and you must rush!
You are completing objectives slower than the enemy team.
From the ground up, this game has been built as a hyper-competitive slog. Every single match being a race against time, either against an enemy team or against an arbitrary clock to beat the missions given to you. Even in their PvE game mode, where you aren't expected to fight PvP at the end of the game, you're still forced into a race against time, competing with a random enemy team in order to complete objectives faster and win. This game design is an immediate turn-off to the vast majority of players in the world. People who log onto a game after work with their buddies, wanting to relax and enjoy themselves, will inevitably be turned off by the inherent work and rushing feeling of a purely competitive game. The frustrating thing is, in the pure PvE moments, the raid bosses, the fights against massive enemies and hordes with the enemy team on your side, this game shines like no other as a gem in the rough. It's exhilarating, it's fun, it's casual, and based on the feedback of the forums, everybody agrees that these missions are undeniably the best part of the game, but they're buried behind mountains of competitive busywork. It turns people away. Unfortunately, it seems like this isn't set to change anytime soon. Based on the current roadmap released by the developers, they have zero intentions of opening the game up to a more casual crowd, which I can guarantee will spell the end of ExoPrimal, if not by the end of Season 1, at the very least shortly after. People who are competitive will slowly be drained away by the increasing skill ceiling as other competitive players refine and grind their gameplay, turning away even more new players who just want to see what this super cool exosuit versus dino game is. And if the game turns free to play, as I suspect it will with this game style in mind, the game will shut down even quicker, as a large number of players, the vast majority of whom are casual players, will discover the same thing as I have and abandon it. We can already see the game churning away players at an alarming rate. We don't have access to Xbox numbers sadly, but Steam itself tells a horrible story of people getting drained down and leaving. And these are people who have paid money for the game. If they're getting drained down and leaving, who knows what the free people are getting? I don't think the feedback of the issues is getting to the developers due to the competitive players, the ones who stayed behind, the ones who are left, being the most active on the forums and discords, naturally having the loudest voices, and shutting down any and all feedback given by the casual audience. Worse still, even if the developers released a poll right now, as early into the game's life as it is, asking players, what do you want in ExoPrimal? Because casual players don't actively follow communities, Reddits, and forums, the majority of the feedback will be pushing for more competitiveness, which will just exacerbate the issue. And this will get worse every single day that passes, with the competitive players increasing the skill gap, causing casual players and semi-competitive players like myself to get frustrated and bored and drop the game in favor of games that offer vastly more casual playstyles that can be booted up at any time and enjoyed, like all the top games on Steam currently. Yes, all the top games on Steam offer competitive experience, but the key word there is offer. The vast majority of players are currently playing them, are enjoying the casual parts a lot more, generating income, which then allows developers to add more content ad nauseum. Now I can't just sit here and espouse on the various failures of a development team. That's not fair. I should get some real feedback, and this is what I'd suggest based on a casual player's perspective of what would be great fun to just relax and play. And again, based on the forum feedback, a lot of people agree. First and foremost, you need to add a way to replay the missions you most want to, or a custom game mode that lets you customize and select the missions you want to replay. With the vast majority of players sitting and enjoying the raids and the final mission the most, it's a gigantic turn-off having to sit with friends and slog through 20 or 30 random boring competitive missions just to play that one awesome gem of a PvE mode. Adding a true casual experience rather than the rushing, exhausting hybrid you have right now is also a must. Instead of loading two teams in and having them race, just have one team load in. Don't put any time limits on, and let them work through at their own pace. This will encourage more silly builds, more groups of friends just wanting to log in and enjoy a few games in peace, while laughing about the crappy day at work they had. Experiment with a few more fun styles, like, let's say, for example, you have a city full of dinosaurs. That's the premise of the game. You're dropped into a corner of the city as a team of 3 or 5, and are expected to work your way through the entire city, slowly pushing back and clearing out all the dinosaurs with your friends, cleaning each street methodically. Fits in the world, fits in the scenario, and also lets Leviathan figure out what the fastest way to actually destroy dinosaurs would be. Or how about a raid style game mode in Leviathan's subroutine world, where the pillars are randomly raised into an arena, and you're expected to survive an ever-increasing difficulty wave of dinosaurs that starts small and ramps up to freaking Neo-Rexes coming at you while your team tries to crunch them down. And for the love of God, and genuinely, I cannot fathom why this isn't already a thing. Add in true crossplay. You make us all make Capcom accounts and verify our age like 8 times before joining the game. Why in the 7 hells can't Steam players queue up with Xbox Game Pass and Microsoft Game Pass players? This is a ridiculous oversight in such a team-focused game, and drives a huge wedge between players, forcing people to turn off the game and play something else with their buddies. Genuinely cannot understand the thought process here, especially when you make everyone make Capcom accounts. You already have everyone doing that. Let us queue. At this early point in the game's life, there is absolutely time enough to save it from the brink. Right now, casual players looking at the way the roadmap is set, there's zero hope for a future where this game becomes a fun game to just log on to every day and bust out a few games with buddies. Show that you're aware of the issues and the feedback, and slot into your roadmaps and timelines examples of true PvE and true casual games that will cater to the majority of players, and give you an influx of both players and income to allow you to further develop the game. I had, and I'm not alone here, very, very high hopes for Savage Gauntlet, but it was an unbelievable letdown. Unfortunately, it's just another example of a short, even shorter than normal, hyper-competitive game mode that adds literally nothing new to the table and has no draws for people who want to relax and play. It's more just, if you don't pick what's meta and play, you're not going to have fun, and that's not what casual people want, is it? So, developers, if you are to listen to the feedback, set out with the best foot forward and listen to all the players that were asking for that true PvE. They're exhausted with the competitive nature and tired of constantly racing to objectives and being forced to play optimal builds just to get to try and enjoy the game. Add in clans. Allow people to form community and friendships instead of making them spite each other in this hyper-competitive, vapid experience. I mean, in conclusion, if ExoPrimal stays its course, I can guarantee without a shadow of a doubt that it's on a very limited lifespan. I don't have a massive voice in any community, but I hope there's a way forward for this game. It is truly such a cool idea, and the different mechanics and, like, mechanically, gameplay, it slots together really, really well in such a cool way. Take notes from games with massive fan bases that are enjoyed to this game, like Team Fortress 2, Earth Defense Force, and the like. Super casual games that just crush it in the numbers. Take this amazing idea and craft it into the game that everyone can enjoy. The combat feels fluid, the ExoSuit variety is great, and the overall idea is amazing. It's just missing that draw. When I'm sitting and I'm staring, this is off script by the way, right now. When I'm sitting and I'm staring at my Steam library to find something to play, as most casual players do, they'll sit down and they'll scroll up and down their Steam library at what's installed, and they'll think, what do I feel like playing today? ExoPrimal just makes me feel really tired. And I can guarantee a lot of other people will feel the same. They'll be going back to their old favorites. They'll be going back to the ones that can just be picked up and played casually. And that sucks, because it's a fun game. It's just, yeah, it's exhausting. Anyway, thanks for watching. I make this video as someone who was very excited for ExoPrimal and has found himself very burned out on what was delivered. Damn right, Script Icy. I am so burned out on what was delivered. I don't hold out a lot of hope for the developers to listen, unfortunately. And when I see this game going on the same path that so many gems in the past have gone on and find themselves on the creek when it's too late to change directions, it sucks. Anyway, if you have feedback, leave in the comments or make your own videos or Reddit posts or Steam forums. Let developers know where you stand in the grand scheme of things. And that's where I'm going to leave off for today. If you guys were... End of the script, by the way, so this is all off again. If you guys know me, you know I was very, very, very excited for ExoPrimal to come out. At that point, my semi-competitive nature, because as I said, I'm not hyper-competitive. I used to be way back when, but I'm too old for that now. I can't do it with the rage, and my hands are slow, and my brain is tired, so... I'm only semi-competitive, and at that point, my semi-competitive brain was still kind of getting the endorphin boosts of, yay, I beat it. But that doesn't last long, especially when you, oh god, when you look at the discords and forums, because all the casual players, they'll leave discords and forums, or they'll just be silent on them, and that just leaves the competitive players going, nah, you don't like PvP, you should make it even more competitive and balance everything. Nah. Nah, bruh. God, it's so exhausting. Anyway, so I've been meaning to announce this for ages, and one of the artists is getting quite annoyed at me. So, I have a web store where you can buy a lot of colorful merch from some of my favorite live streams in the past. Here's an example of them right here. If you're very interested, go check them out. And this one specifically, I will be taking down in 2 weeks because the artist doesn't really want to have it monetized as much, so I managed to bargain for 2 weeks. Now, I bargained for this about 4 months ago, but I never did the announcement video. So, go check it out. Check them out. For real, though, I don't make any profit from this. This is more just... I mean, genuinely, I've sold so many, and I think I made like 40 bucks profit in total. But the point is, this is for us to have something together that we can celebrate and enjoy. And that's what I want. Especially for games like Dead Space, dude. Oh my god. Dude, look at that Stray artwork. And look at that Dark Souls artwork. And then there's Bioshock. I'm currently looking at them outside my office window because they're all hanging on the wall. They're pretty sweet. Anyway, I'll leave off for today. You guys are awesome. If you want to support what I do, check out the Patreon as well. You can watch me record these live. Not this one. Unfortunately, I'm currently working on a new live format, which will be a lot more fun to watch for people. There's a community of like 100 people waiting for you to come and join. You can see infinite numbers of photos of my reptiles, including the brand new edition, the Emerald Tree Skink. Anyway, I'm going to leave now before I completely tank my average view duration. Have a lovely night, day, morning. And I hope the ExoPrimal devs listen. Bye-bye.